say, okay, I have a lot of money, but you have no money unless you take profits.
When the first ever spot ETF was created for gold 10x.
And the only thing I really knew was Bitcoin at the time, so I just invested very heavily into that. Rode it all the way up.
What's up?
My name is Jeff. Even the creators have said it's going to be the predecessor of CBDC.
What that taught me was that I need to be self-sufficient.
A solid DCA investment strategy, and pretend the red sell button doesn't even exist.
We about to go up like.
What's going on, DGens? And we are live on this wonderful Whiskey Wednesday here. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Nate, Mr. Brendan, and Mr. Zenith. Oh, and we got Josh already in the chat, 50 degrees in Disney on the balcony watching with the princess. Fantastic. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I freaking love that intro. I'm always like over here dancing and shit every time the intro's playing, but enough about that. Before we start the show, I want to give a real quick shout out to Elena, Josh's daughter. So here's to Elena. I got news today. A little birdie told me that she just got bumped up to intermediate level in gymnastics. So let's all raise a toast for all those of you there at home and all you guys on the panel. If you got a drink, raise a toast to Miss Elena for doing real well in gymnastics. And other than that, let's see what's going on. We got our co-host over here, Mr. Zenith. Zenith, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing well, just hanging in there, watching everything unfold with Liquid Loans, and you guys just absolutely eating people's lunch on it. Tonight, I'm drinking on some Woodford Reserve. It's a good staple whiskey of mine, so happy to be here, happy to chat. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah. Brendan, what's going on with you, bro?
What's up? What's up? Not financial advice. Just saying. Not much, man. Things are really good. Getting ready for a little vacation. So heading to Ireland on Friday for a couple of weeks. Super excited for that. So just trying to finish up work and get everything ready to go before we head out. But excited for tonight's stream. And Liquid Loans, man. Woo! Sheesh!
Hell yeah. Nate, what about...
Right.
Good shit, bro. We are excited about the Liquid Loans. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. Nate, why don't you go ahead and let us know what's going on with you, bro, and then we'll just spill right into the Liquid Loan stuff.
Well, I can go ahead and start there if you want me to, because quite frankly, me and Brendan are nightmares on there. We've been getting quite a bit of pulse off of that, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been a hell of a ride for me, at least, because I started off a little more degen than other people. Like most everybody here has been like, all started at a very minimum of like 200 ICR, and most everybody is still going over here at 250. And I'm like straight up, nah. I'm gonna start off at 180, and I'm not gonna lie, it got kind of scary because I went from 180. I built myself back up to 190. I'm like, yeah, let's go. It's great. And then I went to sleep. I woke up and I'm in the yellow at 170, and I'm like, uh-oh, oh boy, this is happening. And so from there, I started and continued building myself back up. I got all the way back up to 190 again. And then again, I got home from work and I was at like 166 in the yellow again. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I took out even more money. I took out some of my profits from shrapnel and alluvium and stuff. And I started throwing that in, and I got myself back up. I straight went to like 210, and then I bumped back down to 170 again. So I've been just dumping more and more pulse in. But hey, you know what? I'm almost hitting my 100 million mark at this point, and I think it's, especially with how much free pulse I've been getting, I think this might be the biggest money maker I've had so far. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. How about you, Brendan? I know you've been you've been liquidating people left and right over here.
Licking my chops, buddy. Like today, I've been working from home the last couple of days, and I had my laptop, my crypto laptop up on one side, work laptop up on the other. Got Alexa sending me a message every 15 minutes to recheck Liquid Loans. About 15 minutes it refreshes. So I did get some liquidations today. This evening. It kind of was crazy. It was like didn't seem like anyone was going to get liquidated today. And then, man, we just saw that price dive, and it almost liquidated a whale that had $100,000, and he literally just by the skin of his teeth increased his vault and paid some back. Literally seconds before I liquidated like 10 people.
Oh man, you know that reminds me of the guy that this one whale had like $500,000 worth of pulse, and I literally saw him. I was pushing the button, just click, 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 click like that, and I saw him at 110.01, and it's like 0.01 off of liquidating this guy myself, and then all of a sudden he put back in or paid back $33,000 worth, and it's like, wow, that's not fair.
Yeah, and for those of you who haven't played around in liquid loans, essentially it gives you an opportunity to be a little bit of a degenerate. You got to be really careful when using the platform. In fact, we have a whole video about it so that you don't get wrecked. When we talk about people getting liquidated, essentially those people are getting wrecked because they're not following good practices when it comes to the platform and using it. But essentially it allows you to take out USDL, which is a stable coin on the project, and you have to put up collateral pulse. And if you drop below 110% collateral, you can get liquidated, right? You still get to keep your loan, but your pulse is bye-bye. So, yeah, it's essentially you're losing a lot of money at that point. So be careful out there. Realize that if you don't have the time, as Nate was saying, to watch it and keep an eye out, then it might not be the best play for you to do. But I know for myself, made some serious gains in just a few days, and I'm hoping to see more of those. But at the same time, I'm be perfectly happy if we saw a massive green candle and people didn't get liquidated for the rest of the bull run. I'd be perfectly happy with that.
It's so green Nate, candles. real quick, I got a question. Actually, Nate or Brendan, either one of you guys can grab this, but you guys are talking about people getting liquidated and you guys making pulse. For the folks at home who have not watched our super duper deep dive with Nate, Tracker, and Walrus, can you guys describe what happens to the pulse in the vaults of the gentlemen that are all liquidated when they get past their 110% ICR? Can you guys kind of sort of explain that for the people who don't understand?
Yeah, so if you're the one liquidating, you get paid out an instant $200 worth of USDL, which ultimately is so you have to borrow a minimum of 2,000, but it's more like 2,200. Simply because you have this initial amount that they want to keep around. That's the 200 for if you happen to get liquidated, right? And then you pay that out to whoever liquidated you. But then that pulse is taken from the vault and it's spread out to whoever's in the stability pool. And easy as that. And Brendan, when you liquidated those guys today, I looked and I was like, oh wow, I have a free almost 700,000 pulse. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, that is a good way to make money, is by being in the stability pool. Is you get to participate in all the liquidations. So Brendan, can you describe what the stability pool is in a couple sentences for the people who again might not know it?
Yeah, super simple, right? So when you create a vault, you're putting pulse into a vault. Like Nate said, it has to be minimum of 2,000, what's worth $2,000 worth of pulse at that moment, plus an extra $200 for potential if you ever get liquidated. So that gets paid out to people. You can take that USDL, so you've put now essentially minimum of $2,000 in, and you can withdraw USDL, which is the stable coin on the platform. You can then take that stable coin and you can essentially just stake it right in the stability pool. So the current APRs just under 5%, but on top of the APR, anytime somebody gets liquidated, as Nate said, you're getting paid out pulse directly to your wallet, and you can withdraw that instantly. I mean, I've withdrawn probably over 10 million pulse just from people getting liquidated in like a week, a couple, like 10 days, whatever.
That's actually pretty cool too, Brendan. How much is 10 million pulse like worth right now? If you were to just go buy it off the market, How much is it worth?
I think it's worth about $500.
Bam.
10
and
10
what was
million
that in
pulse.
1 week?
Yeah, give or take.
Oh.
Whenever it launched. So
Yeah, that I'm kind of surprised at just how this is the surprise for me, right? And I'm pretty sure you're kind of feeling the same way, Brendan. Is like it's a 5% staking pool for loan, and loan's like okay, whatever, right? Not impressive, but just how much pulse that you get out of those liquidations is actually insane. You are getting so much pulse, so much money just by sitting in that stability pool for that one reason. This is really awesome. I'm enjoying myself over here.
Well, now, so one thing I do want to go ahead, Brendan. Finish your thought, then I'm gonna hop in.
Sorry, I was gonna say then you can take the loan that you're earning and turn that back into pulse. So I've swapped most of my loan. I've kept a bit just in the staking pool, just to have some in case it ever makes a run. But most of it I've just turned back into pulse, and then that pulse can go back into my vault to shore up my ICR so that I'm not any chance of getting liquidated.
For sure, that's a good strategy, and I think a lot of people have been doing that with the loan token as well. I've been paying attention to the loan over pulse charts, and it seems that a lot of people are swapping their loan back into pulse and doing something similar of that nature. Now, one thing I do want to comment on is keeping your USDL in the stability pool as a process to earn rewards off of people getting liquidated. There is a cost that comes to that. So as your one thing that I noticed anyway, as I was providing liquidity, or excuse me, not liquidity, as I was staking my USDL in the stability pool, is that my USDL would be subtracted from, so like I would, if let's say I staked $100, right, and somebody got liquidated, their pulse would get sent over to my little not my vault, but sent over to my little portion or percentage or whatever you want to call it of the stability pool, and then also a little bit of my USDL would leave. So it's not a free for all. You don't just get pulse for nothing, right? You lose a little bit of your USDL every time that someone gets liquidated. So that's just something that I want to bring up for the people at home. And it's not like a crazy amount. It's just like little snidbits here and there get taken away. So if you are going to provide for the stability pool, just know that some of your USDL will be taken out when people get liquidated. And I think that that's just to keep the ecosystem all balanced and something of that nature.
Yeah, it's almost like a fee.
Mr.
It's almost like a fee. And the neat here's the way you want to look at it, right? You've borrowed out that amount, okay, and you're gonna have to pay it back eventually. But here's the thing, like I've off of everything that I've gained so far, you know, I'm at about like $500 worth of pulse, right? And I've only paid back about $400 worth of USDL, you know, getting taken out. And pulse right now is basically at its lowest. So when you get into liquid loans, how it is now, think about how many X's you paying back $400 for $500 worth of pulse, right? Paying $400 USDL for $500 worth of pulse, and then how much is that pulse going to give you X's on that? Like this is this is a steal, man. The way that this whole thing works, and you have never sold any of your pulse, by the way, too. That's the big deal with it. So liquid loans is really like I said this earlier today. I think liquid loans has been the most amount that I've made off of a new launch, I think, ever. And that's basing that, you know, pulse is going to be pumping and getting X's.
Shoot, I had accidentally muted myself there. Zenith, I want to give you a moment to speak, bro. You had mentioned in the pre-stream, like green screen area, that you hadn't messed a whole lot with liquid loans yet since launch. What are your thoughts on the protocol? What do you think? Is there any sort of sentiment read you have on it, or is this just a crazy cool thing that isn't on the Zenith radar for the near future?
I think it's honestly a little bit of that one. The Liquid Loans project is fantastic, and it's a cool project for sure. I'm more than happy to admit I'm one of the more boring people on the DGen Roundtable, so I'm perfectly happy to kind of just like sit back, watch things happen, and then, if anything, I would like to try to get into some sort of like a staking pool if possible. But like I said, I was trying to bounce ideas off you guys and see what was going on, and I don't think I'm going to be one of the guys out here hunting liquidations, as fun as that sounds, and it does sound pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, I hope they have good tokenomics, because they've made, like, the boys over at Liquid Loans put a lot of work into this, and they've made it is a shockingly complex system that also operates very simply. So the ability to get into this is super low, but the outcome that you can have out of it is potentially very high if you use it properly. However, at the same time, one of the unfortunate things that comes with that is that, yeah, you can get liquidated pretty easily. So it's going to be a wild ride, in my opinion, to watch. I hope the token does well. I really do. And I wish nothing but the best for the boys over there. But for right now, I'm just going to kind of sit on the sidelines with this one. We did have a good question that I think I kind of want to throw over to Nate, is that one of the ideas with the liquidations is that what happens is, as the price of Pulse Chain goes down, the value of the vault goes down. Therefore, you have to increase collateral. So let's assume that we're in mid 2025 and it's a bull market and we hit that top. From there, it's only downwards. So what would that ecosystem look like if we're just in a constant free fall for like a year?
Okay, so a lot of strategizing behind all of this. Basically, the main idea is you're gonna want to just kind of pull out of it. That would be the smart thing to do.
I mean, that's going to be the conventional wisdom for like everything. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
like,
you're
obviously going to keep moonbags, but other than that, it's basically like a full year of like bear market incoming. Just like, get out of here.
So ultimately, though, when let's say we hit the peak, right, and you're not interested in like taking profits, you just want to keep your pulse and all that, right? Here's what you want to do. You want to actually take your USDL and pay it back as it goes down. Pay it back until you hit a certain point where you're like, well, I mean, watch your ICR percentage, and it's live on the actual DApp itself about what your percentage is at. So you want to keep it healthy, like right around 200, I would say, is what I've noticed. And this is with extreme volatility. Keep it right around 200, maybe 250 if you're, more conservative. More risky, I would say 170 is the riskiest you want to be. So, but you keep paying back that USDL back in as it's going down, and you get to keep your pulse entirely while still keeping the staking rewards and the liquidation rewards. Here's the thing that I think is going to happen. Like for me personally, I'm taking profit, right? So I'll end up just pulling out, and I'll pull out everything, and then I'll be like, okay, good to go, waiting for the next bear. As soon as we hit the bottom again, I'm going right back in because this is going to be great. But I think what's going to happen is that this is a form of leverage that I would say is probably the safest form of leverage, because it has to do with you just simply borrowing and being very obvious with a percentage number that you can watch every single day. You wake up, you come home from work, whatever, you can literally look at that percentage and be like, so am I in safe zone like 200, or did I suddenly drop down to 160 and like, whoa, hello. Okay, you're able to adjust that so that you're in a safe zone. So what you want to do as you're dropping down, obviously, is keep that number steady. Me, I'm just going to take out profits, and I'm just gonna let it drop until we get to that bottom, and then I'm going to repeat the process again. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get caught with their pants down because they're going to be like, oh yeah, it's the same thing it's always been. It's going up. It's going up. They're going to follow that old classic narrative thing, right? Where it's like, Bitcoin going to 100,000, hit 69, and then you're done. Too many people are going to get way too greedy over that, and it's just going to end up liquidating a lot of people. Now, I guess the idea is like, well, then if I keep my ICR healthy, I could get all those liquidations. But here's the deal. You need to keep pulse longer and not take profit. So are you better off taking more or getting more pulse that way rather than taking profits from that, waiting till it all drops, hits the bottom, and then buy back? That's kind of the question right there, you know?
One thing that that I'm kind of curious about is what happens to all the USDL that's in the market. Like let's say someone goes out and they get a they go out and they get a loan. They put up their pulse as collateral and they get USDL, and then they get they send their USDL off somewhere, off into the ether, and then they get liquidated, and now there's USDL floating around, and then somebody else buys it or whatever the heck. Like, what happens to all the USDL that's still floating around after all the people that had the collateral for the USDL got liquidated? Does the system does the protocol destroy USDL inside of the stability pool that people are providing as like stakes, which, like I had said earlier, like if you're providing stability for the system, like whenever someone gets liquidated, a small portion of your USDL gets taken away and you receive a whole bunch of pulse and some loan for the whatever. But what I'm thinking is, like, if the price of pulse starts plummeting and a whole bunch of people have a whole bunch of loans taken out that just aren't getting paid back, that are just getting liquidated, like, I wonder if there's some sort of momentum or like flashpoint or something like that that could result like a downwards, like, crazy spiral or something that would result as this sort of thing happening. Do you have any insight on that, either Nate or Brendan or Zenith?
I was going to say, this is a good question to have, because theoretically USDL is a stable coin, so it should always be pegged to like just a hair under $1. But if a stable coin gets depegged, that could be a big problem. So yeah, this is a big what if.
Yeah, the way that works is the uh-oh. Boom, there we go.
Musical chairs. It's all good.
Yay. Yeah, so the way that the stable coin works, obviously, is that it can either be a little bit under or a little bit over, and it all depends on basically liquidity and what's going on. Will, I came back halfway into what it was you were talking about. So unfortunately, I'm unable to answer your question because I was not here to hear it.
Let me kind of sort of, I'll sum it up a little bit quicker. So we're at the top of the bull market. A lot of people are borrowing USDL and trading in their pulse for it. And so there's a whole bunch of USDL that exists in the world. And let's say they decide to spend it. They swap it out for DAI or USDC or wrap Bitcoin or whatever the hell, right? They spend all this USDL. The USDL is still sitting in liquidity pools. It still exists. It's still out there. And then the price of pulse drops and they get liquidated, right? So all of their pulse goes back and like, you know, covers the cost of whatever the loan was when it was pulled out, and the price keeps plummeting, right? Let's say that the price keeps plummeting and keeps doing this weird downward spiral, right? Like, there's a whole bunch of USDL that exists that's floating around in the ecosystem that, like, the vaults for this USDL, they were all liquidated, and they paid someone, right? They paid all the people in the stability pool. Does the value of all the people in the stability pool that are staking their USDL, does that number go down equivalent to the amount of USDL that's floating around in the regular world, or does it cause a crazy, like, momentum building spiral, or momentum building downward spiral, since it's an algorithmic stablecoin, right? What is the result of, like, we finish the bull market and we enter the bear market and liquidations start happening, right? Where does the value come from? And again, this is just kind of like peanut brain thinking here. There's probably an answer to this question already. Somebody else smarter than me has probably asked it in a much better way, and so I'm willing to bet if I, like, dig through all of their videos, I can find it. But it's not at the top of my head right now, and I'm not aware of it if it exists. So, do you know what would stop the system from plummeting into a death spiral in that in that sort of scenario, Nate?
So number one, do people trust the coin? Do people actually trust or believe in Pulse Chain? That's your number one question. If they do, then there's actually going to be a large majority of people who are going to hold Pulse Chain. And so that right there will actually help hold. And the question is about depegging of USDL, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that will keep it pegged right there alone. The other thing is going to be, it's always going to be a little bit under, or a little bit over. So when everything starts dropping and going down, the question you have to ask yourself is, what do you think people are going to do? Are people going to pay back all of their USDL, the majority of people, right? And then they're going to buy back their Pulse out of the vault, right? Or pull it out of the vault. If that's the question, then it's like, okay, well, there's still a lot of USDL, okay, that's being held. So I guess here's the worst case scenario is going to simply going to be, are they switching USDL into like USDC and completely getting out of USDL altogether? That right there would be the worst case scenario. That would require a recovery mode ultimately. If they get out of that stable, the algorithmic stable right there, then we got a problem. Otherwise, okay, if USDL is going to be cheaper, then people will use their Pulse to throw back into USDL. If USDL, or if Pulse is going to be cheaper, then people are going to use the USDL to throw back into Pulse. So it's just always going to kind of balance out over and over again like that, which is why you can literally watch it right now, even with how extremely volatile this is. I'm watching USDL and Pulse going up and down together. And right now USDL is 18 or almost 2 cents more expensive than the US dollar. It was just about 2 cents under in what was that, like 3 hours ago? Like, it's working exactly how it's supposed to be working. So I don't think people are going to be escaping USDL in exchange for like USDC. Long story short.
Okie doke. All right, well, that's good. All right, well, we're going to go ahead. If there's no other final thoughts on liquid loans, we're going to go ahead and do a hard transition into a... Yes.
Sorry, I don't want to we're way in the weeds in this, but I just want to say there are some mechanisms and fail-safe within liquid loans that I'm not going to get into, but there are, for example, if price changes by X amount in Pulse within an hour, it actually stops liquidations in the vaults so that we don't have mass liquidations. It allows people to top up for X amount of time. And then it also starts a new mechanism where people can bid on vaults instead of getting liquidated. So I don't want to get into all of that. Watch the liquid loans video that we have. But there are a lot of mechanisms and fail safes within the platform. And that's one of the things I really like about it.
That's fantastic. I had totally forgotten about that. It's probably been about a month since I've last watched that video with Tracker and Nate and Walrus. Okay. Well, excellent. Was Jeff in that one too, Nate? Or was that just you and Tracker? Okay. All right. Well, shout out to the boys in any case. All right, we're going to do a hard transition into a question from Josh. So he's got a question for the panel. Bitcoin's been running hard over the last few weeks. Can the pump be sustained, or should we expect a pullback? Zenith, I'm going to throw this one to you since you are our resident TA expert, and then just open it to the rest of the panel. But Zenith, why don't you go ahead and take this away for us, bud?
You boys flatter me. Jay is the TA. I know he claims to be great value, but I'm great value Jay effectively. So there's. All right, so let's talk about it. What we're looking at is Bitcoin. So right now we're sitting at about 43,900. We had a peak right around 44,400. And noticeably, the last week has been a continuation on the bit of a bull rally that we bet on since October 12th. You may notice it's December 6th. So this has been a pretty long run. We had a lot of debate around where was the end of a cycle. And ultimately, I think we did get a confirmation that our cycle ended on the 14th of November. But we've been running pretty good since then. And one of the things that I've been looking at is RSI. So we have the RSI currently sitting at about 79, but when we had that first run up to our 60-day cycle low, the RSI got all the way up to about like 87. It was pretty overheated, and it was overheated for a hot minute. So one of the things that a lot of people were talking about is we were expecting to drop back down after that RSI, heating up towards the end of that 60-day cycle. And now we're back up over 70. RSI is relative points, by the way. It goes on a scale of 0 to 100, just to make that clear. Anything above 50 is bullish. Anything below 50 is bearish. And then once you get towards like the last 25 on either end, so like 75 to 100 or 25 to 0, that's when things are considered like overbought or oversold. So according to the signals right now, we are overbought. We did just have the candle for yesterday close, so it ended up closing red, which shows that we may have topped out, because up before that, we had just 7 solid days of big green candles. This is something that we talked about when Boogie was on. This seems like a decent resistance level, and I could see us chopping around here for a week or two. But to be honest, yeah, we're leading up to the halvening, so I could totally see us keep running up a little bit more, all the way up to about 48,000. That's going to be one of the larger resistances before we start making that final run up all the way to previous all-time highs. I personally don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. The halvening might be the reason for that, but we'll see.
You know, if I may too, the thing that I kind of noticed is that there is a lot of, like, sentiment-wise, right? There's so much greed, and there's so much, Bitcoin doing this, Bitcoin great, yay. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, seemingly, that it feels overbought. And that's just the feeling of it. And when you actually look at the charts and stuff, it's like, yeah, it kind of seems that way. And then all of a sudden you start getting what was his name? The CEO of JP Morgan, though. I can't remember his name right now. But he's straight up like, oh yeah, the classical, the only thing Bitcoin is good for is drugs and shit, right? It's like, okay, so what are you saying there? If you think about all these large institutions as to like kind of working together of trying to like pump each other's bags and dumping on everybody else, right? Based on fake news, then then the idea where everybody's so happy that Bitcoin's doing all this stuff, it's doing great, and then all of a sudden that falls. It's like, okay, it looks like they're looking for a pullback now. It looks like they want to take some profits. So they're going to get people scared enough where they're gonna be able to dump on them, and then people are gonna be like, forget Bitcoin. And then they can buy back, and the green candles come back, and everybody else is like, oh, let's go again. It's like, I don't know. I'm thinking right now we're looking for a pullback just based off of that.
I think a little bit of a pullback definitely feels like it's in order. And I will say this, one of the interesting things about the pump that we had over the last 7 days was that the volume was actually about on par with what we had been seeing for about 2 or 3 weeks before that. Granted, when we did have that initial run up from about 27,000 to 35,000, there were a few days in there where we actually got a lot of volume, which was about double or even more the normal traffic for the day. But if you go look at the volume charts, it's pretty much been business as usual over the last week, even though the price still just has been skyrocketing. One of the reasons for this might be just as a matter of fact of just accumulation, which is that when you have the system of buys and orders that are getting put in at limits, eventually one of those sides can overtake the other and just go. It's just a matter of weeding through all the orders on one side before you make that move to the upside or the downside. So that's just something interesting I've noticed about this move.
Yeah, I want to add on to that just a little bit. Like you said, Zenith, it's been a big move pretty quickly. I think most people expected, so we were at November 28th. I think we were at 36,000 and change. And now we are at right around 44,000, I think just under at the moment. And like you said, they're between sort of 42,000, 43,000 actually, and 48,000. There really isn't much resistance on the charts, but I do think there are some levels of psychological resistance. And I think that 44, 45K brings in a psychological resistance that you might not see on the charts, but it tends to happen sometimes that there are just certain numbers that provides some resistance that you might not expect. And so we are starting to see some bearish divergence on the daily, and Josh pointed that out earlier as well in the chat. I think he was the first one to mention it, and I was looking at it after that, and certainly see some bearish divergence. So I do think that if we were up to 48K, it happened so fast that we'll probably have maybe a bit of a bigger pullback than if we have a pullback at 45, 44, 45K, a little bit of a smaller pullback. But I don't see any reason that this can't continue even after the pullback. We have the spot ETF potentially launching, or most likely being approved in January. And that could be a sell the news event. We don't know yet. We'll see what the stock market does. We'll see if there's any decoupling. But it's really interesting to me that we're already at 44,000. I mean, we're closer. If you think about it, we're as close to the top of the market as we were to the bottom. We're almost halfway back to all-time highs, which is insane if you think about where we were just a couple months ago. So it's a pretty big run, pretty fast run. Could see a bit of a pullback, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. I think just some quick stats for folks. If you want to start counting on October 15th, that's the day where we really started this run up from about 26,500. Since then, we've gone up 67% in a matter of 52 days. If you even just want to look at the last cycle that we had, we actually went up about 51% in over a course of like 64 days or something. And since then, we're up another 27%. So this is one of the biggest gains that we've had basically since we actually had the bottom of the bear market back at the beginning of 2023. So this amount of growth that we've had has been so fast and so rapid. I think it's caught a lot of people off guard, to be honest.
And I said, don't sleep on Bitcoin. It's the first mover. So make sure you got some money in the Bitcoin, and then you can roll those profits into other things. People, remember this.
You're entirely right. Even if you go look at sorry to run you over, but like, you're entirely correct. Like, go look at the Ethereum chart. It has a very different shape than the Bitcoin chart. And I bet you if I even pulled up Bitcoin dominance right now, it still would be increasing. So we're not even looking at going to Ethereum, and we're definitely not looking at going to alts just yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while till we get there. And I think that Bitcoin's going to keep its dominance longer than maybe it would in most markets because of the ETF launching. And remember, it's not just one ETF. We have many spot ETFs launching for a lot of different banks. And so it's not just one person buying. Yeah, sure, BlackRock's been buying Bitcoin forever. But there's a lot of companies filing for the ETFs. The question is, how long does it take after a Bitcoin spot ETF happens for an Ethereum spot ETF to happen, right? Because BlackRock already put in application for that, as did a few others, Grayscale, etc. And so what's the next level? So is it going to take that spot ETF from Ethereum to be able to sort of start to catch back up to Bitcoin? But remember, it's why I said months ago, continue, when Bitcoin is low, keep buying Bitcoin. People are like, well, why are we chasing 2Xs on Bitcoin? It's not about chasing 2 or 5 or 10Xs on Bitcoin. It's about taking those early profits in Bitcoin and then rolling them into the coins that haven't really pumped yet, because Bitcoin always moves first. And it gives you an opportunity to make extra Xs on the coins that you really want to buy and think that you can make maybe 10 or 20 or 50 X's in the bull market. It gives you extra dry powder. So this is a really important lesson for people to learn, that it's not just about buying Bitcoin and making 3X in this bull run. It's about buying Bitcoin, rolling those early profits as the first mover into those coins, right? If you had bought just Bitcoin instead of any Pulse or Pulse Chain or EX or PX, which, by the way, I don't recommend necessarily doing that. But just think, if you did, you're now up, double on your Bitcoin, and now you can roll that into the low prices and Pulse Chain and the Richard Heart ecosystem. I mean, so I'm just saying there's opportunity to buy Bitcoin and roll those profits into other things. And I think people miss that a lot.
Well, there definitely is a risk to that, though, too. I mean, if you're looking at something like, say, Chainlink or a lot of these other ones, actually, especially GameFi. GameFi is really taking off right now. It's like, well, maybe you kind of missed the boat a little bit. So I would almost call that a degen play, kind of like the degen roundtable. But
TIS.
Yeah, the thing that it was crazy what happened to me today, because I was I was thinking back to 2021, and when I was like, oh, 60K Bitcoin, oh my gosh, oh, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and I'm just hearing about things, right? It's like, oh, it's the big deal. Oh my gosh, you got to go get it, right? Blah, and I'm that exit liquidity. What ended up, I remember that feeling of not knowing what's going on, except for like, oh, go buy. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm seeing the 44K Bitcoin now, and I'm getting that same sentiment from people, from like all the influencers and everything. I'm getting that same sentiment, only this time I'm like, yeah, I kind of already know what's going on. I know behind the scenes of what's actually going on, and more than likely what the future is going to be. And it's an interesting feeling, to be truthful, to be in the know, if that makes sense. Because it was definitely a different time for me back in 2021 when it was like 60K Bitcoin. Oh my God. And then I'm looking at the chart now and I'm like, we are almost there again to that same spot. And the euphoria of people being like, oh my God, this is amazing, is the same feeling that I had back then. Only now I have knowledge up here to be able to work through those feelings, and understand things at this point.
Yeah, Will, do you see that comment from Dre or Casey? Cassie, I don't know if you can.
We know the big players one.
Yeah. I think that this is an important thing. We know BlackRock's been buying, and I mentioned that, right? It's all everybody else that still needs to buy, and people are going to continue to get FOMO. If Bitcoin hits 60, and we have more ETFs being approved for smaller hedge funds, etc., boomers now can put more money in for retirement. I think the FOMO in this cycle could continue to really drive prices, and we'll see how high it gets. I just hope that we don't run too high too fast, and we get a shorter bull run. But the FOMO is really going to induce some really, really great profits, and this is a very interesting bull run. It's a very unique bull run because it's going to be the first time we have a spot ETFs approved during the middle of a bull run. So. I would be so amused if everyone's spot ETF except for Grayscale gets approved, if they just keep pushing that one back on the back burner.
No, they it would straight up get sued.
I was gonna say, if Grayscale got screwed over like that, you would see lawsuits flying left and right. Like, they would stop ceasing to be a financial institution and they would just purely become a law firm.
I gotta look up keep talking. I'm gonna look up how long they've had their
Grayscale has been doing this for like 2 years. So they originally, I think I did a video on this. They originally filed like 2 years ago, got delayed like 3 times, longer than the SEC's own bylaws for how long they can extend things. The SEC had to write new rules to extend the amount of time that they could extend Grayscale. And then they said no, went to court, lost, and now they're even getting rumors of BlackRock basically getting fast laned right past them. Like,
dude, this is we live in such a fucking clown world, man. This is so ridiculous. Those poor fuckers.
I'm just saying, they're not going to sue, but they got a pretty good case.
They're still at a discount though, right? Their Grayscale, their GBTC, right, is still at a discount against the standard. I guess I could just Google that, couldn't I?
Yeah, Grayscale discount, I want to say, is actually below 20%. Back when they originally filed for the ETF, it was about like 45, 50-ish%. We've dropped so much since then. And as we just keep getting closer and closer to these other people getting ETFs, the Grayscale discount is magically disappearing. And I understand that it's like theoretical gains that could be realized. However, that's arguable damages. That's damage that has been done not only to Grayscale, but there are hundreds of thousands of investors that have put their money with them, expecting it to do well, and in turn just getting screwed over by the SEC.
Yeah, there's another interesting thought when it comes to this. It's like, it seems like crypto's here to stay, right? And this is what I'm saying, that the world is starting to believe this, right? That Bitcoin's here to stay. I think banks are starting to realize that they have to get into this area to make money. They have to get into this technology to be able to keep up with their current businesses. And, sure, you hear people like JP Morgan and some people talking badly about crypto and that it should be outlawed and that it's just for drugs and people wanting to do shady things. But for anyone who's paying attention, you realize that this asset class is solidifying itself as a preeminent, really important asset class in all of the financial markets. And because of that, banks need to get on board. And it's not just, it's going to start with a Bitcoin. It's going to start with Bitcoin, Spotty Tap, and Ethereum. But don't you think that once they start to see opportunity there, they're going to spill money into the rest of the market? Of course, that's going to happen. And then it's going to be blood in the water. It's going to be fun. It's going to be it's going to blow up. And I just can't wait to take some profits.
Oh, for sure. The market's definitely heating up right now. And I think a lot of people have realized that crypto is here to stay. I want to say it was Charlie Miguel, actually, like a few months ago. They even covered a story talking about how a lot of financial advisors, like only 3% of them advise their clients to actually have some sort of exposure to cryptocurrencies, but over half of them own cryptocurrencies themselves. Part of that could absolutely be due to the regulation that just comes from with being a certified financial advisor and whether or not you can recommend these things that the SEC is still debating. Like, Lord knows the SEC could come out and try to jail everybody that ever recommended a cryptocurrency to people. But as just more fun facts to hit you with, the market right now is still going up and up. The Fear and Greed Index is at 81 right now. This is the highest that we've had it like this cycle entirely. So things are heating up. Market cap is even at $1.6 trillion. Notably, like 3 months ago, we were sitting right around like $1.2 trillion market cap. So it might not feel like the bull market is on yet, but technically the bull market starts when the bear market ends. And the bear market, by the chart, ended in the very beginning of January of 2023. So that's where we're at.
That bugs me when people forget that. They're like, oh, when the bull market starts? It's like, no, the bull market has started. It's already started. We've been in it. We've been going up, dude. It
accumulation phase.
Yeah, accumulation phase.
It's small stacks, small gains before we go parabolic.
Bam. Exactly. Yeah, and so I was actually I was looking at the stock cheat sheet, right? Was it the Wall
Street cheat sheet?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I was looking at that, and I'm like, we are in disbelief phase right now, and I thought it was very interesting because it's like we're having this like big up, which is like I guess you would call it the bull trap technically, and then all of a sudden it's supposed to like drop back down before going parabolic, right? And I was thinking, hey, as soon as they start cutting rates, right? That's historically over the past 100 years when there's a sudden drop, right? In the traditional markets. Maybe it's like disbelief, right? It goes up and down, both on disbelief and then all of a sudden parabolic. And I was thinking, hey, if we really are in this position, we still have a big drop coming. It's not going to be like, oh my God, we're back to 11K in prey. It's not going to be that for sure, but there is going to be another drop. And that I think that's going to be the Fed pivot. Brendan, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't have any thoughts on the Fed pivot yet. It's too soon. It's too soon. They might pivot faster than people think because they're going to get so much pressure. But I don't think that they should be pivoting anytime soon. I'm going to hold out hope. We got the CPI print coming up in what 6 days? November 12th. December 12th. Is that the date? I believe, Zenith?
Yes, sir. It's either the 12th or the 13th. One of them.
So I'll wait.
December 13th is the FOMC meeting. CPI report should be the 12th.
The 12th, yeah. So I'll wait, Nate, until we get that before I give my real thoughts, because every bit of information is going to be helpful. Heck, I think that they should raise the rates again this year. But if they keep changing how inflation is calculated, then it's going to look like they don't need to raise rates. So
you're always cooking the numbers, man. Come on.
Now that they, one of my big things was, how when Medicare in October, medical expenses in October were going to increase the CPI numbers by a lot. They just changed how they calculated the numbers. And so that said to me that they don't want to raise rates anymore. They're just going to change the way the numbers look to try to make it look better. And you know, there's some pressure from, I'm sure, the current administration to make things look good moving into an election year. So yeah, they're going to want to start cutting rates next year. Absolutely. But could be as soon as March.
Brendan, I think you hit the nail right on the head there. Like, there's a big discussion that we always have ourselves, which is what should the Fed do with interest rates? But then there's also the other metagame of what are they going to do, or what is politically advantageous to the current regime. Unfortunately, one of those trumps out over the other, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Before we pivot too far off this, I did just want to throw out another stat that I found, because you guys brought me on as the futures trading guy, and even this last show the other day, I talked about the futures market and how we were basically about as high as we've ever been this cycle. Yeah, since then, we've gone up about another 15%. So to answer Dre's question of do we think that Bitcoin is going to keep going up, I'll tell you this, the futures market thinks it's going up.
In the future, Bitcoin will go up.
Good chance, although I will say this, though. When it comes to the interest rate stuff, Brendan, to go back to what you're saying, yeah, I would like to see another interest point rise, or not a point rise, but like another hike of like a quarter point or maybe a half point. That would be the correct tool to do what their stated goal anyways is, which is curb inflation. However, at the same time, one of the things they might be looking to do is heat up the economy a little bit to make it look like it's taking off again. But even then, assuming inflation is also going to rise at the same time, it's a bit of a facade or just a show. It's going to be a mirage of a good economy, with the reality being that inflation is keeping up with it, if not slightly outpacing it.
So Zenith, if it's a bit of a facade, economy is looking better than it actually is underneath, could them making poor policy decisions lead to a potential recession at the end of next year?
This is a take that I can't remember where I saw it, but the idea that we can predict recessions is pretty not very true.
If anything, what are you talking about? I mean, technically speaking.
Yeah, correct. They changed the definition already, but we're very bad at predicting recessions accurately. There's a good chunk of people that do get lucky when they happen, but finding people that have been able to repeat themselves is very difficult. So is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Is it definitive? No, there's a lot of stuff that could happen.
Agreed, but if we're just trying to hide how the poorness of the economy, that tends to drive things worse, making decisions that aren't helpful. I'm not saying there'll definitely be a recession either, but it's certainly something that's on the table that we need to at least consider as an option.
Oh, for sure. If you keep cooking the books, it's just going to prolong the inevitable and arguably make it worse.
One thing, one thing I kind of want to do a little quick transition here into this sort of pivots quite well into the next topic of conversation, but I want to talk about the market sentiment. So we're discussing all these things that the Fed's doing and that the government's doing, and that that all the powers that be are doing, in addition to the SEC and like all these trusts and all the everything. But Nate, I want to throw this one over at you for a quick little look into market analysis. One thing that we had talked about in the pre-show room was like, there's been a lot of people streaming. There's been a lot of people super duper excited about like prices going up. Nate, why don't you go ahead and take this one away from us?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've kind of already alluded to it, right? But like just today, you know, per my job, what I'm able to do is basically just listen to YouTube videos or audiobooks or whatever for a good 8 to 10 to 12 hours, depending on how long I'm working. Just plug in and go, right? So one of the things that I like to do every once in a while is I like to kind of just go out there and like type in as a normie crypto and kind of see what the normal person is going to be. As soon as someone brand new gets interested in crypto, what are they going to be presented with? And usually it's kind of like, it's what I've been getting, right? And during this bear it's a scam. There's some hope somewhere, but we don't know when it's going to happen. oh, I ended up losing lots of money and I got wrecked, and it's all like negative, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, it looks like things are starting to pick up. Looks like a bull run is starting to happen, and things like that, right? And now all of a sudden, just this past, I want to say it's a good like week or two now, it's been going crazy, where it's like price predictions, oh, 500k Bitcoin, 250k Bitcoin, it's going to go wild. This if you're not in now, you're not going to have any money ever, blah blah blah. All this, it's flipped to such a, it's like someone flipped a switch, man. It's absolutely crazy how so many different influencers can have this same idea of just how amazing crypto is suddenly. And we're getting these scammers coming out of the woodwork now, just on like Telegram and like pump my coin. There's this brand new coin coming out, this brand new thing coming out. I'm like looking around, thinking to myself, where did this all come from so suddenly? And it's been surprising the hell out of me. And I think this is a part of like the euphoria phase, where people are like, oh, what's it called? We are so back, you know? And I think this is a part of it. And it's been really surprising me that it came so fast. And I don't know. It's just absolutely crazy in my mind, just how fast it came through.
What's the saying? Bull markets bring scammers. Scammers bring bear markets. Bear markets bring diamond hands. Diamond hands bring bull markets. The cycle repeats. It's nothing new under the sun here, bud. Just faster than we ever thought it was. But in the world of crypto, it happens fast.
Yeah, and see, the nightmare for me is that I'm getting like flashbacks of my my liquidation days when I had no clue what was going on. The only thing that I knew was like hype, you know, buy this, buy that, go over here, do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like kind of like tossing money out like this, like, and then I just lose it all in the end and I get nowhere. And I don't exactly know why, other than just like, I don't know enough. And I was level headed too. I wasn't even one of these guys who got pissed off and was like, it's a scam. I wasn't even one of those guys. I was one of the guys who's like, well, I clearly don't know what I'm doing because I just lost like $10,000. So screw me, I guess. But now, see, I'm getting those same feelings though. And that's what's ridiculous. You know, the same feelings are coming through and I'm like, I should go after this new coin that's being pumped like crazy. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then I look into it. I'm like, no. I know better now. I know better than that. I ain't going to do that shit again. But yeah, it's night and day.
I want to take this opportunity and say, for those of you guys who are just now joining us live, shout out to Sloth, shout out to Boogie, shout out to Moon-Pilled Rational Optics, shout out to everyone who's watching us live. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, join our DGen Roundtable Telegram. You can find the link down below in the description, or if you want to just hop up into your URL, type in bit.ly/degenerate_roundtable, and that'll take you straight to our Telegram chat. But join our Telegram chat so that way you guys aren't left in the off in the blue, off in the know-how, off in the who knows what the fuck's going on space, where if it's your first bull market and you're just like chasing these strange ass altcoins that are all green candles and you're selling all that stuff. Join our Telegram. It's free. It's awesome. You get to chat with us. You get to chat with all the rest of the community. It's super cool. But it's a whoa, here we go. But it's a great space. It's a great space that we all have lots of fun and do lots of cool stuff in. I want to say real quick on like this subject of talking about market sentiment and everything. I just did a quick little Google for like cryptocurrency news, and I see that in the last 8 hours, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon just said, if I was the government, I'd close it down, and he's referring to cryptocurrency and everything.
Bud!
Which it's yeah, you know, it's fear, uncertainty, doubt for sure. But I find it kind of funny because I'm quite positive, like, you know, and again, I'm just a little peanut brain diamond hand over here, but I'm quite positive that JP Morgan owns Circle, which owns like and controls USDC. So like one of the strongest stable coins in the cryptocurrency ecosystem is owned by this this company who's like, hey, we want to shut it all down. So just some food for thought for the folks at
Was
the folks
was
at
that guy
home,
talking about the financial tool that's used to exploit people the most and commit the most crime in the world, aka the U.S. dollar? Cash?
Yeah, it's
is that what he's talking about? No,
that's
he's
not
talking about
specifically
crypto.
the thing that's traceable 100%. You can find where it comes from and where it goes if you want to spend the money to figure it all out. But yeah, this
the
is just
100% transparent tool. That's the one you need to worry about. Even then,
man.
I will say, as much as we hate that the government goes after all of like the mixers and what are the privacy coins? I can't. Zcash is one of them. Tornado Cash, all those things like the
Hurricane, I think.
Yeah, Hurricane Cash. Thank you. Like, believe me, the government hates crypto, but they hate those even more.
Yep. Yeah. Oh man, it's so funny. I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. Diamond said on Wednesday. Apparently, he's been against crypto since all the way back into 2014. I'm reading this from Axios, by the way, but man, what a silly goose, you know. They're in charge of one of the most powerful stable coins in the ecosystem, which again is USDC. And
yeah, the more we get, go for it, Brandon.
Will is breaking up.
Yeah, we got Robot Will back in the house.
Well then I'm gonna talk.
Oh no!
Since Robot Will's taking
all right,
over.
yeah, go ahead.
Take it away, Brendan.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously, yeah, it's a bit of fun, and JP Morgan's buying Bitcoin as they're telling people that they want the government to ban it, right? It's so hypocritical, and there's a chance that some of these people want crypto to stay low so that they can buy more. It's getting to the point where it's very, very, very hard to buy Bitcoin, especially. And at the halvening, in fact, we saw this on a actual economic news show saying that Bitcoin is now going to overtake gold as the the rarest essentially thing on earth. So gold currently, but Bitcoin is going to be taking it over. Hardest to find, hardest to get, hardest to mine. And as people continue to hold, it's only going to become more and more scarce. And that is going to drive the price up. And as Bitcoin drives the price up, Ethereum is going to drive up. Every other coin is going to drive up. You're going to see a massive increase in market cap within the crypto sector. So yeah, JP Morgan might be like, shoot, we didn't expect it to jump this quickly. We should have bought more 3 months ago. I guess I should have listened to that intern that told me we should have bought Bitcoin. But seriously, there could be some FOMO from these banks too. They're like, shoot, we should have bought more.
Yeah, that ties in perfectly to that ties into what Dre was saying in the chat earlier, which is that he thinks that one of the reasons we're seeing this pump right now is that a lot of the mid to small size guys are FOMOing in. It's that feeling, that little tick in your brain that goes, I should have bought yesterday when the price was lower. And no, yeah, Crypto Sloth is right. Should have listened to that internet for sure.
You know what? Magical internet money versus magical US dollars. They're really no different. Really no different.
It's all just
so one thing I'd like to add on to. So here's an interesting little take on gold. Gold is actually only formed when a star dies, and we get supernovas. That's really the only way that it can be formed. Interesting. So if you have a bar of gold, you're quite literally holding a bar of stardust. Interesting, right? With that being said, obviously on Earth, there's only a certain amount that you can technically mine, technically get, right? Well, let me go ahead and throw something out there then. What happens if we start mining like asteroids or other planets, right? We just have drones and we fly them over there and, mine a bunch of gold and we're good to go. All of a sudden, there's a lot more gold in the marketplace. Interesting, right? And the universe is a pretty decently sized place, fairly big. But when you look at the universe that we created, which is the internet, cyberspace, and we say there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin available, how are we going to mine more after that? Because we humans, the gods, I guess you could say, of cyberspace, have already said, hey, specifically, this is as much Bitcoin as possible, but there's still more gold that we can go get. So I would agree with I can't remember the guy's name, but I watched him say, the most scarce asset on Earth is going to be not technically on Earth, but in cyberspace, which is Bitcoin. And I would 100% agree with that, because one of the biggest things we are going to have is the AI revolution, which is going to exponentially give us the ability to fly into space and do whatever it is that we want to do out there.
Yeah, and that was on CNBC for anyone who missed it. If anyone wants to go back and watch that video, it was on CNBC, I believe, yesterday. So it was Bitcoin boom when they're talking about fast money. Yeah,
right now too. Just to give a little hint, there's actually there's a bit of a boom. Like, everybody already knows about the AI boom happening, right? That's kind of clear. But there's a secret boom happening as well, and it has to do with tech, and has to do specifically with space tech. Space tech right now is having a huge boom, and the potential is astronomical. Mind my pun. So yeah, just kind of watch out for that, because they all seem to be pretty decently related.
I gotta say, there's a token, or there's a couple tokens that there's less of than Bitcoin. I was wondering, like, is there another token out there that there's a lower supply of? And I came up with this silly little altcoin. Now, I want to be absolutely clear. I do not recommend nor advise investing in this thing. This is just for shits and giggles. But there's a coin called Monerium that there's only 32 of in existence, and it's on Avalanche, it's on Arbitrum, Binance Smart Chain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Phantom, Optimism, Polygon, Pulse Chain, all sorts of coins. But Monerium 32, apparently there's only 32 of them in existence.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that project. Will, I've looked into it in the past.
It's a silly one.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even spend enough time to get to know it well enough, but it just interested in me because of exactly what you're saying. They only had 32 coins.
Yep.
But when we're talking about like assets, or like Bitcoin is an asset, right? It has ETFs. It has a spot ETF. A lot of cryptos are just scams. So let's not put them all in the same class of assets, and something you got to be really careful with. Of course, everything we talk about is not financial advice. Just want to say that. But yeah, it's some of these coins out there are so interesting.
I'm pretty sure Crypto Sloth has the best idea for making the rarest coin of all time.
The one.
And it's not fractionable. It's not fractionable.
No, not you can only own one.
I have news for you. Just like the comment I posted, those already exist. I think they're just called NFTs.
Trump NFTs
tokens. Yeah, but I can split my Bitcoin into 100 million satoshis, and I can split my Ethereum up into a whole bunch of Guays, and I can split my Pulse chain into a whole bunch of hearts or some stuff. I can't split no NFTs unless I get a
weird,
really
theoretically, if you had sorry, Sloth, I didn't mean to rain on the parade. I was gonna say, theoretically, if you made your own L1 blockchain and there was like a singular token, just imagine how many gas fees it would take before the token is entirely gone.
Ooh, hadn't thought about that. Just one. It can only be spent once.
It's like, look, we got 5 transactions and that's it.
be very wise. It's gone forever. Oh man, that's freaking fun. That is freaking fun. All right, so let's see. I'm looking at
any questions in the chat. Anybody got any questions out there? Put your questions in the chat. We'll answer them.
We don't even have a question, but I do have an interesting thing that was postulated by Moonpilled Rational Optics, who's a distinguished gentleman. I've met him in person. He's a smart guy. And one of the things he's talking about is that he and I were going back and forth, but the basic idea was that when it comes to all the FUD and people saying that crypto is a scam, it sounds like it's people that honestly don't believe that crypto could last like 30, 40 years. So they don't see it as that like that ROI that's going to last like an IRA or a 401k or something. So in their minds, it's basically just like a scratcher bet. Because you have that mentality, it definitely limits your possibilities with it. And yeah, it's absolutely possible that all of crypto is just a big scam and it's all going away. And Satoshi secretly coded a death date of like 2037 for some weird reason. Like, even given all of that, if you look from a risk probability standpoint, one way you can look at it is when you're trying to determine the severity and the cost of a potential downside on anything happening is you have to mathematically weigh out the probability and multiply it by the factor of value. In the case of crypto, there is a probability that it all goes to zero. However, the value that you could get out of having your own moonshot, having your own hex with a 10,000x, and the probability of that, in my opinion, it greatly outweighs the downside, which makes crypto super worth it, in my view. Yeah, risk analysis.
Yeah.
Sorry to engineer up the stream. Yeah, I'm making it nerdy, shitting on all the good ideas, trying to pitch NFTs of one.
Yeah, you're bringing us down, man.
I am the heel. I am the heel of this WWE, baby.
I'm trying to find this one token that Sloth made before it gets bought up. Damn it.
You're going to buy half of it?
I couldn't find it. Nah, I couldn't find it. It's up for 1 PLS somewhere. I don't know.
Liquidity
I'm too drunk right now.
1 pulse.
Yep. Oh, that is.
I gotta say though,
funny.
Sloth is a bit of a wizard. Like being able to make projects, just like once you know how to do it, I'm sure it's as easy. Just like boom, done, off the rack, go. But
oh shit, he's live in the chat telling us 1 second. Do some stuff. Hang on.
Literally, so are we live launching a coin right now on stream?
Right here.
I don't think we're not launching a damn thing. This is all Sloth's project, all right? So SEC don't come after me.
Sorry,
I'm not saying go after Sloth, but this is definitely not.
Yeah,
this is definitely not no DJ stuff.
Go after his one.
This is hilarious.
The new rarest.
I love this. Yeah. So
what you guys do on
waiting,
Wednesday? We got drunk on stream, launched a new coin, and then watched it become the rarest crypto asset in the world.
Oh my god!
We forgot to own any of it, so we're still poor.
I know that's the irony of it, right?
Man, I wish I knew how to do this stuff. This is some good info. Sloth, you should make a freaking little video tutorial on how to do this stuff, so that way little peanut brains like me can make stupid little coins for no reason.
How to launch shit coins 101.
A doctor coin? Man. Is that what you're saying, Niles? A doctor coin?
DGen Roundtable coin.
Oh man, I don't know about that. I think it's like, being as we all probably live in the United States, we might get in some trouble or something from trying to monetize things with crypto. I don't know. That's a whole. I remember talking to Miguel and Charlie about that, and they're like, dude, that's a trouble and a half. You don't want to do that shit.
Dude, I'd say we have a pretty killer. Yeah, we'd have a killer ticker for a coin there. It would just be DGEN. DGen.
That would work though.
I feel like DGen coin has to exist somewhere.
Yeah, it probably does.
Really?
Are we late?
Oh,
yeah.
You're making me go do it.
Has to.
I'm gonna go look up.
Yeah. So real quick, while we're talking about new things launching, something that I want to cover. I sort of mentioned this in the show notes, but there's two new websites for onboarding people into the Hex ecosystem that I want to give a quick shout out to. One is called Hex Scout, and the other one is called GoRealDeFi.com. Right, so GoRealDeFi.com is super duper easy. It's just, if you got a friend and he's interested in Hex and he doesn't know what the heck to do, go to GoRealDeFi.com. And I like this. None of this is paid or anything. I'm pretty sure GoRealDeFi.com was made by RH Max. I heard Sami talking about it, is how I found it. But GoRealDeFi.com, it allows people to like launch into the Hex ecosystem. It's got the bridge, it's got the blockchain scanner, it's got the freaking like the PulseX DEX. Like, it's got all the cool stuff that you need. And then HexScout.com is super cool for like looking at your portfolio and doing all sorts of things of that nature. It's just a basically super duper simple UI for anyone to have, so you can add that into your little portfolio tracker, whatever. I know that I use a combination of like Fatty and CoinStats and Coinly and now Hex Scout and also, oh shoot, what's that other one? GoPulse.com. That's another great portfolio tracker. But there's a whole bunch of cool things being launched in the ecosystem. So big shout out to those guys who have made those websites. So I wanted to give those a quick little mention. And one more thing, shout out to our producer, Mrs. McGettit. So big shout out to our producer. Thank you very much for doing the job that you do, keeping the cameras switched and keeping the chat alive and making sure that we have all the StreamYard stuff up and out and about and ready to rock and roll. So that's what I got for shout outs for the moment. Yeah, I've run out of topics to talk about. What do you guys want to talk about? Anyone got anything?
Sloth is a legend over here. Do you see this?
Oh shit. No, I switched. Oh man, I switched tabs. I'm looking at all this stuff.
What is this?
Oh man,
I'm looking it up right now. Oh my god!
Insufficient liquidity. I can't buy any.
I understand.
One
of one.
I'm trying to buy it.
One of one. I can't find this.
Dude,
well, put
you
the
actually made it.
Address in and I
you are a legend, bro. You are a fucking legend. This is sick.
I can't buy any though.
Oh.
I think it has too low liquidity. Oh well.
Yeah. I got $1.
I'll put it this way.
I'll buy it for.
Sloth just flexed on the world for the low cost of 281 pulse.
Man, only on Whiskey Wednesdays. This guy. Oh my god.
This
is why.
Yeah, like the fucking stream. We got 19 of you guys watching us make fools of ourselves right now while Sloth runs circles around us building coins and stuff. We got 4 likes on this video. Like,
we've only got 4 likes.
And we got rugged.
And Will got rugged.
Oh,
he must have tried to buy 1 coin and he got rugged.
And I'm roboting. I'm roboting. What a fucking stream.
I think Sloth
rugged him.
I think he went and tried to buy 1 on Pulse Chain, and I don't think it worked.
See, Whiskey Wednesdays is the day that you get into this stream. You have yourself a really good drink beside you, and you just have a good fucking time. Like, let's go. Come on, guys.
Oh my god, dude. I'm like fucking 6 beers deep right now, and I haven't drank for probably 3 weeks or some shit. This is a good time, I gotta say.
Danny boy, I'm sorry if you've only been listening, because I feel like probably trying to listen to this is a bit off the rails.
Yo, Zenith, I want to talk about your sword. Pull out your officer saber. Yeah, dude. Is that a is that a Marlowe?
Is that?
Are we gonna get? Can I
touch
this
18
on
plus
stream?
or no?
Is this how we get boogied?
Bro, I'll bring out some
actually,
guns right now if we wanna go crazy.
No,
Yeah,
don't touch
probably
guns
right.
on stream. No.
I got these guns. You see this right here, bro?
Yeah, these guns.
You know what this is? This is my gun rack.
I love it. That's what we're calling it now. We're getting boogied.
Yeah, we're getting boogied.
Boogied everybody.
Don't boogie me.
Oh man.
Don't boogie me, bro.
Yo, but dude,
Yeah,
that's your officer saber, right?
Yeah, I actually brought it out when we were hopping on RG3 stream. I had a pirate costume that I dressed up for Halloween one year, and I was trying to find it before we got on stream, but I just couldn't. So I was like, well, I got the sword. I'll put it in the background, and then I think you're like the first person that's ever like looked at it or even mentioned it. So there you go.
Yeah, bro. So little background information. My father was also a Coast Guardsman officer back in the day. So I recognized the sword. I was like, oh shit, is that a Coast Guard officer sword? Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, one of the things about ours is it's actually a straight blade saber, as opposed to, I want to say, Marine Corps and Air Force both have curved.
Yep.
Or is it art? It might be art.
Yeah, so yours is more like a rapier, right?
Yep, it's pretty much like it's something you more of like fence with versus like actually like swing around and go for a slash or anything. It's more of a pokey sword.
Yeah, that's what the rapiers used to be. It's more pokey. So, but yeah, no, Danny boy, he really.
Well, Nate. I think he.
Everyone getting
Hotkeys. No, Danny Boy, like, hey, I appreciate it, man. He says here that my the style of our streams have been a breath of fresh air for the crypto YouTube, and I mean that I'm not gonna lie, that's a little bit of kind of what we were going for, like especially when it comes to Whiskey Wednesdays. It's like the whole idea is like, let's relax and let's be a part of something, right? Here's something that's here, and our whole community. I mean, obviously, it's like, come on, guys, let's enjoy the green candles. Let's enjoy good times. Let's enjoy the red candles, right? I think that's the perspective that
let's see, people get liquidated and I make money, or we get green candles and I make money. Win-win, baby.
I know.
On the upside.
We're not losing out here. That's
Upside.
right.
Obviously, everybody has different ways of how they consume media and how they enjoy it. I think something like this is perfectly fine to throw on in the background and just like listen to while you're doing something, maybe driving like Danny Boy. But I mean, as far as what you want out of what you look for, is it's going to be different flavors. There's in the cryptosphere, I will say, as far as the Hex community goes, I think we have a lot of different people out here. Like, you can go look up any tutorial you want, and you could probably find a YouTube video under 10 minutes that'll tell you how to like do a bridge or do a stake or unstake, or what good accounting on Hex stakes looks like. And then you can also go find 2-3 hour streams of people that are talking about specific topics, or honestly just hanging out like this. And then even then, there's so many people that if you don't like certain personalities one place, you can probably go find other people elsewhere. It's cool. I like it. This is a cool thing we got going, and I hope it keeps going from here.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you know, we've just had so many great people that have been so great to us, our community, and we've had incredible guests, and they're still around helping people, creating coins. Sloth, Boogie, Brothers. I mean, we got a lot of people that have just been awesome to our channel and have been super supportive. So I just want to give a real big shout out to everybody else, everybody that's come on, all of our guests, all of the people in our community that have come on and enjoyed the show, talked in the chat. Look, if you're not part of the Telegram, get in the Telegram. We are putting information into there so quickly that you get information before you get it anywhere else. Believe me, I know that for a fact. It's happened multiple times. In fact, we even give private streams in our Telegram chat. If something big happens, we'll hop on, we'll show you the charts, and this could be 11 a.m. in the morning. You know, Jay might just hop on and start a video and start showing you the charts because something big happened, or I might hop on because something unique happened with the SEC or with the financial markets, and we need to talk about it. You guys need to be informed. And, you know, we want to get you information in real time as much as possible. So get in the Telegram because it is free. Not everything is free. Not everything is free forever. So get in while it is free.
Yeah, Brother 64 has a good synopsis of our Telegram chat and channel, I'd argue. All killer, no shiller. As always, Degens.
100%.
Degens with a purpose, right? We don't want people to get wrecked, and I don't want to get wrecked anymore. So
I gotta say, one of the cooler things that I've seen in the community lately, the event itself was not cool because it really sucked. But one of our folks, Bradley, shout out to you. You ended up having that weird like scam thing happen, and you've been backtracking your coins and starting to recover it. I really have not seen any information like that elsewhere. And we have somebody in our chat, like real time, talking about like, okay, shit happened. I lost my coins. How can we track it and try to recover at least some of it?
I'm proud of him.
That's fantastic.
That was crazy cool. Yeah,
it's a cool process.
Now, I don't know if he wants us to name him, but let's keep it anonymous for now. But yeah, that was quite fantastic. And he recovered some money too.
He
didn't get it all, unfortunately, but he did get some back.
Almost 50%, which is crazy. I mean, like most people never get anything back when they're scammed. So for him to be able to go through and really take the knowledge that he's learned and apply it to a crazy difficult situation, I mean, I give shout out. Like to me, I'd probably be like, I lost it. But bro, he went after it and he got some of it back. Unfortunately, not everything, but props to him. Props to him.
Yeah.
So,
but, hey, you know who you are. You know, and shout out to you. You're doing amazing things. Keep it up, man.
So anybody, if you have questions, throw them in the chat. We'll stream for a bit longer here. Just hanging out, having fun. Oh, where did I get this nice hat? Well, let me tell you. A man by the name of Will Stevenson, who goes by Peanut Brain Diamond Hands, may have sent this to me just recently as a little thank you for hosting some of the D-Gens down here in Miami, and we rolled Miami. I don't think they were ready for us. Thank you, Will. I love this hat.
So I got to say that in the place that I got the hat from, for those of you who are interested, go check out Crypto Coffee. He's got a YouTube stream as well, and all that I did was scroll down into his little description below, where he had some merch for sale, and one of those merch items was a not financial advice hat. And that's something that we say all the time on the stream, is not financial advice. And it's one of the things that Brendan most especially harps on. And I know that Brendan likes hats. And like he was saying a minute ago, he showed us a hell of a time while we were down in Miami. So this is my little thank you to him, was sending him this killer hat. So big shout out to Brendan, and also big shout out to Crypto Coffee for providing these cool ass merchandise items for us to buy and send around as thank you gifts to each other. So make sure you guys are checking out all the dudes in like the crypto sphere space. Like, sub to us for sure, and check out our Telegram and do all this other stuff. But make sure you check out all the other bros too. Like, check out Walrus at Liquid Loans. Check out Crypto Coffee. Check out Miguel and Charlie. Dollar Cost Crypto and Cultivate Crypto. Go like find everybody. Go check out Crypto Sloth. Go check out the Brother 64. Go check out Crypto motherfucking Boogie, dude. Like, there are so many like cool ass streamers in this space. And I'm sorry for everyone that I'm totally forgiving. Rags to Riches.
RG3, Rags to Riches, Maddie Allen.
Oh shit, yeah. Maddie Allen, RG3, Rags to Riches. Fuck yeah, bro. Like all the dudes. Fucking name them off, boys. If I'm forgetting anyone, like, for sure. There's tons of people. Your friend saw me.
Miguel.
My God, dude.
We had Miguel as a guest from DCC.
Hell.
I mean, we've
God
had some
damn right.
guests on this show in a short period of time, and it's because of the community. And and remember, this is a bear market. We launched this show in a bear market. You know the type of bear market we just been through. I don't know. There's just a different sentiment on this stream tonight. Seeing green candles on Bitcoin is getting people a little excited. Or is it the whiskey?
Dude, it's a little bit of everything. Oh yeah, the Herc. We had the Herc live on our Thanksgiving stream.
Right.
Shout out to the Herc. Dude, that guy's fucking smart as shit, man. I remember seeing him in all the crypto mindset course chats for like the longest time. That dude dropped some fucking knowledge. So pay attention whenever you see the Herc in the chats. Like, pay attention to some of the shit that he's saying, man. That is a smart motherfucker. Also, Moonpilled Rational Optics. Occasionally, Twinkie will drop by. If you ever see Angry Twinkie, pay attention to what he's saying. There's so many smart people. Watch all the streams. Look at all the comments. Ignore all the people that are just talking shit and having fun. But like, there's so much value in this ecosystem. So many people out here just like trying to make the world a better place, and we're all gonna and trying to contribute to the whole concept of like, we're all gonna make it and we're all gonna be smarter. But I mean, you have to do the work to yourself. You have to like listen to the things that the smart people are saying. You have to actually find the smart people. So it's not all just a whole bunch of freebies, but for sure.
Yeah.
Danny Boy says, you guys came out hard with banger guest list, got me hooked, love the whiskey nights. Fuck, dude, I love them too. I'm pretty drunk right now. This is a good time. It was a good.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a
time.
comment that my roommate made to me the other week.
Whiskey,
He was like, oh yeah, these Whiskey Wednesday night streams must go really well because every time I make dinner, you come down after your stream, you're just sauced. I'm like,
Oh, dude, this is great.
That's funny. You know what's interesting too? I just want to let people know we may or may not be a part of the Hex conference next month. So, I just want people to know that could be a thing. And I don't know, no official announcement yet, but you might see some of the faces that showing up at some conferences in the near future. So keep an eye out for that.
Drop some
Shout
hits
out
like
to
Salt
Maddie
Bay
Allen.
there.
Shout out to Maddie Allen and the Hex conference, or as a lot of people call him, Maddie All In, really. But January 6th to 9th, Hex conference, be there. It's going to be an awesome time. It'll be a lot of fun.
Are we going to attempt a whiskey of the week recommendation?
That
yes.
sounds fun.
My whiskey of the week for our very first whiskey of the week recommendation is water, which is the primary ingredient in whiskey. You can't make whiskey without water. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water to go with your whiskey there, so that way you stay nice and hydrated.
Okay, Mom.
Past that, bro, I would say, I don't know, fucking Jack Daniels, but I'm just like a cheap fucking peanut brain diamond hand, man. What's a good whiskey?
I'm gonna
Somebody
throw
educate
something
me.
out there. I'm going to Ireland on Friday, so I feel like I gotta give my Irish whiskey a little bit of loving.
Okay.
A couple of the ones that I sip on, the cheap whiskeys. Everyone knows Jameson; it's great, sure. I like to sip on Tullamore Dew. It's about the same price as Jameson. Some cases you can get a little bit less, but it's a bit smoother. And then if you want to go for a bit of a higher end whiskey, the Redbreast 12 or the Redbreast 15, fantastic Irish whiskeys. We're going to be spending a little bit more money for those. So maybe I'll be coming back with some more Irish whiskey recommendations when I get back in a couple weeks.
Might have to,
All right,
might have to make my way down
I'll
to
give
Miami.
Wild Turkey 101 a look. I will fully admit I'm a bit of a cheap date. I don't mind sipping on Jim Beam. It's not that bad, and I guess the story time is back in the day, like 5 years ago, I didn't really like whiskey at all, and then I kind of just like sat down one day and I was like, all right, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna do our own little tasting in the garage. So I went to an ABC, got like a bunch of different nips of different things. And then I was just building target stands in my garage one night, just like drinking whiskey more and more and progressively getting more and more drunk. And
oh my God.
And through that, I remember I was just like 3 or 4 in, and I tasted this one. And I was like, all right, this is not bad. This is like very middle of the road. I could do this. And I looked at the bottle and it was Jim Beam. And I'm like, well, I am a...
See, I'm ashamed to say that Crown Royal is actually...
Crown is great.
I appreciate really much. But the problem is I'm an Irish Viking.
Brings out the worst in you.
So it's like heresy. Why am I drinking this this Canadian whiskey when I should be getting myself a good Irish whiskey?
Bro, I gotta say, if any of you poor motherfuckers ever have the misfortune of finding yourselves in the you know, in the country of Greece, big apologies to the Greece guys for disrespecting you so, but I just gotta say, like, you're whoever the fuck invented Rocky is an absolute idiot, right? So if you guys ever find yourself on the island or any of the archipelago or archipelago, however the fuck you pronounce that word, right? If any of you guys ever find yourselves in the islands of Greece and somebody comes up to you and they're like, hey, you want some Rocky? Fucking tell them, fuck no, I don't, if you're a pussy. And if you're not a pussy, be like, you're goddamn right I do. And you drink this shit that tastes like freaking nail polish remover or whatever the hell it is over there. But I'm hearkening back to, as you guys are describing all these delicious and delectable beverages that I'm sure are fantastic and wonderful, I'm just thinking of like all my horrible experiences I've had overseas where I've drank these horrible acetones and cleaners and things, and for some reason Rocky came to mind. So don't ever drink Rocky unless you want to, I don't know, grow some hair on your chest or something.
Oh,
Well,
dude, I think we've all had our taste of bad booze in the day. One of the particularly terrible ones for me was I was on vacation with my family. We went on a cruise to the Caribbean, and I want to say it might have been Aruba or Bonaire, but we did a snorkeling cruise, and then we got back on the boat to go back to the port, and then the people were offering us beer, and it was like the local beer. Oh, it was the Bahamas. That's where this is from. The local beer. It's called the Sands. It might have been that I was swimming in salt water for an hour beforehand, but that beer was the worst thing I've ever tasted because it actually tasted like sand.
Wow.
Ugh.
Are you sure? Was it made with sand? I mean, you're on a beach, right? Maybe it was sand brewed.
Malort.
Could have
Holy
been. What is Malort?
fuck. No Money Mike's talking about Malort. Oh my god. Yo, so oh fuck. Is Malort, I want to say Malort is a Chicago thing. Oh god.
Oh, I want to say I heard Tim Pool talking about this the other day.
Yes, it was fucking Timothy Pool. Big shout out to Tim Pool, Tim Fool. Malort is probably one of the worst experiences you could. Yep, Chicago. One of the worst experiences that anyone could ever have. I've not personally tried it. I've been to Chicago a couple times. Had a run-in with the police there, and I've not been back to Chicago since.
Was that related to the Malort?
It's not related to the Malort, but I have no reason to go back to Chicago, and so I haven't yet.
I'll give you a reason to go back to Chicago. I recently discovered this myself. I was watching a cooking channel that I like to watch. Josh
There's a lot
Weissman.
of cool Polish people up there.
The delicacy of Chicago is the Chicago Italian beef sandwich. I never knew those existed.
Really?
I made some of them recently myself. My God, does it slap! It is like it's like a roast beef like dip, like with the au jus. So it's like a wet dipped sandwich, but it's roast beef. This stuff called jardinera, which is pickled vegetables. It's spicy. It's like banana peppers,
dude,
carrots, celery,
awesome.
jalapeno. Oh my
I love
God,
pickles.
dude, it's just like a different flavor profile you're not going to get anywhere else, and it slaps so hard.
Put it. Can you put it in the community chat in the Telegram?
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
There's also those, those dangerous liquors. Like in the United States, we have moonshine, right? You go down south and you get some backwoods distilled moonshine. Well, my cousin got married in Maryland, actually. Their neighbor makes moonshine in his backyard. I don't know if it's legal or not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not the SEC. But I do believe that it's a security. Anyway, they had small bottles of this backyard made moonshine given out as party favors at my cousin's wedding. In Ireland, they have something similar to moonshine that they call poitín. It is Poitin, poitín. And if you ever had that, it puts hair on your chest. And I actually kind of like it. So I don't know what that says about me, but yeah.
Poitín. That looks French, but that looks like Creole French.
Gaelic, but yeah. I'm assuming.
Oh, Gaelic. Oh, snap. Okay. Yo, all these cool whiskey ideas and everything. We need to put these in the Telegram so that way people have access to this information.
Dude,
and to give more people
down all of this on my whiteboard over here, so we got a list now.
Excellent. Put it in the Telegram. And for those of you guys watching who haven't joined the Telegram and you want access to these cool booze ideas, Crypto Sloth's 1 token, all sorts of other fucking things, like make sure you join our Telegram, bit.ly/degenerate roundtable or degenerate_roundtable, and then you can join our Telegram, and then you can get all these cool drinking recommendations and cool charts and also like crypto information, and just be a part of the community.
On paper, Crypto Sloth actually just made himself $1.15 million.
What the hell?
Hang
on.
Then I gotta see this shit.
It's a straight green candle all the way up to I got my squeaky chair over here. Non-crumpled
green
slippers.
Candles.
1.15 million. It's just a straight candle up.
It is just that easy, apparently.
The greatest appreciating asset of all time.
I'm on 9mm now, and it's like 0.0325. It's like $37,000 or whatever.
Sloth, didn't you say that thing started out at like 50 cents or $1 technically? So theoretically, that's like a 100,000x.
Dude, I'm looking at it. There's been 12 buys and 3 sells.
It could be a scam.
He's gonna rug you.
He's gonna rug
Fully
you.
diluted volume is 1.1 million. Market cap 1.1 million. Damn, dude, this fucking deck screener is telling no lies. I wish I knew how to do this stuff. That's so cool, bro.
Great game.
That is so cool. You gotta, dude, Sloth. You gotta make a video on how to create coins and how to Well, actually, this is probably like what is this, like Pandora's box, where like you give people the information and then all of a sudden everyone's making their own crypto and coins, and it's basically where we're at right now, anyways. Oh, that's so fucking hilarious.
Are you also going to come on and show us how to deal with the tax burden you just created?
Jesus,
750,000% increase in 5 minutes.
but guys, you need to buy bonds. Buy bonds. That's
Gary Gensler. And then I'm scrolling up, and just like one chat earlier, it's like making authentic Italian beef at home by Zenith. And then it's
that thumbnail looks
above
good,
that
doesn't
is
it?
Avalanche white paper. Oh my god, dude. Guys, get in our Telegram. Why the fuck are you not in our Telegram right now? Like, you can learn how to make beef sandwiches. You can learn how to like buy stupid ass coins, right? You can figure out where to get the bridge to download Pulse Chain. Like, there's just so many reasons. I don't know why you guys aren't in it right now.
Man.
Dude, this is
It's
my
funny.
favorite stream.
You know what would be
Every
you know what would
fucking stream is my favorite fucking stream. This is nuts.
You know what would be fun on a Whiskey Wednesday sometime? We
What's that?
actually take like a 10-minute segment and we each buy the same whiskey and we all taste it. Like just a
I'm
10-minute segment. We all taste the whiskey and we're gonna stick to crypto most of the time and economics, right? But on these Whiskey Wednesdays, we get a little wild. So that might be fun to do a little like 10-15-minute segment on a little whiskey tasting.
Well,
I gotta say, I want to shout out one of our sponsors here for this channel, and this isn't something that we've done before, but one of the things that sponsors us, that makes this whole thing go around, is the United States government money, right? So a big shout out to the U.S. government money for making us able to stream and to have this ability to talk to you guys and chat and everything. So, you know, our number one sponsor, I don't know if you guys can read this here, but it's the United oh, there we go, $1 and forgive my fingernails for being dirty and shit, but big shout out to Money for letting us
Oh, look,
stream
it's
and
that.
having subscriptions and things to StreamYard and all that good stuff.
Well, it's that one shitcoin that went down 97% over its lifespan.
Dude, yeah, for real. Shout out to Money. This
guess
shit's
what?
fucking trash.
Guess what? It's not coming back.
It's not. No, you know, I put it in
Not
my
gonna make
pocket
it.
and I
Not
lost
gonna make it.
value between me holding it up to the camera and me putting it back in my pocket, just because it's printed so fast. Like, I could have bought, you know, you guys remember when the fucking dollar menu was a thing? That's not a thing anymore.
Oh yeah.
You
I've
could
been
buy
seeing
him a
people
chicken
post
for
memes of
$1.
that lately.
I
It's
miss the
like,
Yep.
supersize.
Oh.
Fuck the dollar menu. I miss supersizing things.
Oh.
It's America, baby. Let me supersize my fries.
Yeah.
bro, I
Fucking
remember
A, man.
back in the day at high school during lunch when we got off-campus privileges, we just run over to McDonald's. You get a McDouble, a hot and spicy, and a drink for like $3.27.
Yep. Yep.
Bruh.
Those days are done. Sorry, Zoomers, but you guys will never know the glory of the dollar meal, of the dollar
Especially
menu.
not recently after 10% inflation for so long.
Oh man,
I
dude.
mean, what's a cheeseburger at McDonald's now? When I was growing up, it was like on I think it was on Tuesdays you can get 29-cent hamburgers, and on Wednesdays you get 39% cheeseburgers. They're like the Tuesday
Dude.
Wednesday deals. Hilarious.
Man.
The
Oh my
value
God,
meal
I
was
just-
$2.99. Value meal was $2.99. 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and a drink, $2.99. That was a value meal back in the day. I'm not that old. That wasn't that long ago. Shit, am I old? No.
Yeah, you're a bit old there.
I think you might be.
You're a bit old, Brendan. Dude, I gotta say, I just now realized that Paul Sachs is a play on word for ball sacks. So shout out to you, Paul Sachs, in the chat. That's hilarious. I only just now realized that. That is fucking funny. I think I've seen him in all the little chats here and there. Dude, our money's fucking dropping like goddamn flies, man. This is crazy.
I will say this: at least we're not like Argentina or Zimbabwe, who like literally experience like triple to 4-digit inflation.
Yeah, I mean, Argentina's current inflation is what, like still 75 or 80%, something like that.
Oh yeah,
And
for
their
sure.
interest rates like 25%.
I know we like to turn Michael Saylor into a meme with the whole like there is no second best thing. However, if you want to go sit down and listen to a guy just persuade the hell out of you on cryptocurrency for an hour, go listen to like any of his talks. There was one of them that he was talking about how he had money in an Argentine bank, I want to say, and then overnight they forced the bank to transfer his US dollars to Argentinian dollars. And then also at the same time, they 10x'd their money supply. So literally overnight, because the government called the bank and told them what to do, he lost 90% of the money in the bank.
Yep.
Just
That
Crazy.
sounds about fucking right.
crazy story.
And that's the same thing in crypto. If you don't hold your keys, if you don't custody your own coins, you never know what's going to happen to them. So custody your freaking coins, okay? Don't let other people hold them. They're yours if you hold them. They're not if you don't. Just want to say that. And you're right, Zenith.
That they are.
Argentina's inflation right now is still over 140%. 140%.
Zenith is all in on that chair. Are you all in on that chair? Are you all
Would
in
you
on that
say
airplane? Are you all in on that?
computer?
Oh my god! How many chairs are you sitting on, dude? What a fucking cocksucker, dude. When I saw that like interview with Michael Saylor, I was like, god damn! Like he could have left it at like 3 things maybe, but he just kept going on and on and on. And the homeboy, I can't remember the poor fucker that was interviewing him or he was
The guy
interviewing
was
or
not
whatever.
ready just to get memed on that hard by who he thought was a
Yeah.
legitimate business person.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I remember seeing during like the Halloween thing, I was watching Michael Saylor and he was doing like he did some sort of like Halloween vampire costume. And I remember seeing him wearing these Ozzy Osbourne like sunglasses and things, and I couldn't help but thinking that he was that meme guy on Instagram I keep seeing who makes these beats. It's irrelevant, not important to the stream. We'll move on to other things. Moonpill just said something. Miss McGettick, can you bring that back up?
Yeah, he's diversified his interests into a couch.
Diversified on a couch. Oh my
He's
god.
leveled
Yo,
up the game.
so yo. So you guys are aware that I live in this beautiful living little 7 foot by 7 foot
How
shipping
many square
container,
feet
right?
is that? 49?
I'm pretty sure it's
Literally
7 by 7. Like I can almost I'm 6 foot tall and I can almost like wingspan touch one wall. I'm like I'm about 6 inches shy of being able to touch one wall to the other. So like generally speaking, your wingspan is the same as your height. So I'm gonna say 7 by 7, and that's pretty generous. But my boss just the other day, he was like, "Yo, dude, we got this couch at our house that we're gonna throw away and stuff. So we're bringing it out to like the work area where I'm at. And so there's a couch sitting on a trailer outside that me and my coworker got to figure out where the fuck we're gonna put, or we're gonna chop it up with a fucking chop saw and see what the hell goes on with it. But we got to find a place for this couch and shit. So you're all in on a couch. I'm about to be either all in or in several pieces on a couch myself.
I have a crypto question. I'm probably going to end up closing up the stream here in the near future. I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
We've had a few countries adopt Bitcoin as currency. In fact, shout out to El Salvador. I don't know if you know this. They're in the green. They're in the green, baby. They were right. All your detractors are wrong. They're in the green.
They were buying like 1 Bitcoin per day or something, right?
No,
God damn.
They bought hundreds at a time.
I just read an article about this. I'll have to go find it and throw it in the Telegram.
Well, see, here's the other thing too. What about a company, right? Who's like, nah, we're not getting into that crypto thing. Let's focus on our assets and the like bonds and other stupid shit like that, right? Well, where is Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy right now? What was it, like 2.5 trillion in profit currently?
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been trying to meme on Michael Saylor, be like, haha, how's this bear market feel? And the dude's just like sitting on a couch of money.
I think it's billion. I think it's billion because trillion is like the market cap of Bitcoin right now. So I'm pretty sure it's billion.
Yeah. So the other funny thing is, well, actually, so I have two questions for everybody before I get to that, Michael Saylor was in the bear market. They're giving him all this crap, and what's he doing? He's buying more Bitcoin and laughing all the way to the bank because he knows where it was going, right?
Dude, that's his thing, man.
So I have a question for you guys. So El Salvador has Bitcoin as legal currency. What is the other country that has Bitcoin as legal currency?
Is it somewhere in Africa?
Yes, sir.
Bolivar or something? What's that?
It's in Africa. Central Africa Republic.
Okay.
Is that recognized as a country by the UN?
I don't know.
I mean, shit, there's only like 300 something countries total.
Anybody can claim to be a country, but when do you actually become a country?
It's Central Africa. Man, it's Central Africa. They just called Central Africa Republic. Yes.
Dude, are we about to get into the whole like Rhodesia? Oh man.
No, I was just gonna do a fun story about how there's this guy off the coast of Connecticut who wanted to install a wind farm on his small private island that he owns. But the state of Connecticut said, no, you can't do that. We don't want to let you do that. So then he officially declared himself as a sovereign nation with a residency of like 7 people, just so that he could install like 2 wind turbines.
Good for him.
Peter Griffin over here.
So
Good
I
for
mean,
fucking him.
I've been thinking about doing that actually. If I get to the point of having $2.3 billion in just straight profits, I'm gonna buy my own island, and I'm gonna make it my own sovereign country, and I'm gonna get attacked by all the governments of the world.
So I have one more question on this. What's the next country that's going to make Bitcoin legal tender? Any thoughts?
Dubai.
I can see Dubai.
I bet it's Dubai. and you know that's the milk toast. That's the milk toast. Oh, what a predictable answer, right? But Dubai would be my North Korea. Fucking Paul.
I don't know about that. If I were to give like an educated guess, I would say probably like Malta, because it's been working really well for them, or somewhere in what's that, Southeast Asia, like Malaysia, the Malaysian Peninsula, somewhere around there.
What about Argentina? Argentina just hired a very just elected a very pro-Bitcoin president. In fact, he had like a less than 1% chance to get elected when he originally put his name into the hat of elections. And
dude, Javier Milei is a fucking tits.
It's crazy. So, but he wants to make Bitcoin legal tender in Argentina to try to offset their inflation, just like El Salvador. That's the reason they did it. So, personally, I think Argentina could seriously look to go that direction.
I think that's
it wouldn't surprise me.
That's a good answer.
Anyway, just some interesting questions.
I know, but I think when you look at the answers to this question, the possible answers are, in my opinion, kind of like opposite sides of the spectrum. You either have a country like Dubai that's very forward-thinking and very technology-embracing, so far, so much that they'd be like, yeah, sure, we'll accept crypto. Versus on the other side of the spectrum, you look at a country that's been suffering from hyperinflation, and you're like, all right, we now have to figure out how to fix the money supply. Is this one way to do it? Well, we'll try it. Why not? So
can't hurt. It literally can't hurt.
It's not going to be the middle of the road, people. It's the fucking the extreme ends of the bell curve are going to be the ones to do it, not the fucking mid brains. Fuck, dude. It all goes back to Sami. It's the peanut brains and the geniuses that are going to adopt crypto, and it's all the mid curvers that are just going to skip it all over.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking A, man. Alrighty, gentlemen. Let's think about some closing thoughts here. We're about to go ahead and end this stream. So, producer, Mrs. Producer, if you can go ahead and get that end stream video ready. Let's go around the table and see what we got going on in the near future. Starting out with Mr. Zenith. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going on, buddy?
Well, I actually got a bit of a busy week coming up for me. So starting on Friday, we have book club featuring The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. This is our recommendation from RG3, and this has honestly been one of the favorite books that I've done for book club. I was not expecting it to be as good as it is, but it's like super relevant, and it like breaks down like what are the components of how to be trustworthy, how to build trust, and like what does operating in a high trust versus a low trust environment look like, and then like how to prevent yourself from getting burned by it. This has been fantastic, and I'm super excited to cover it. So we will be talking about this book on Book Club, 9 p.m. Eastern Time this Friday. And then after that, I thought I was going to be going on vacation with my family, but I actually signed up for a stream with Boogie on Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time as well. Assuming that Miguel and Charlie do not go live, they are our mentors. I like to call them my crypto rich dads. So, assuming they're not going live, I will be hanging out with Boogie. I think we're going to be talking about anything and everything from crypto, charts, markets, and he has a bone to pick with me about 300 Blackout because I'm a fan and he says I am an idiot. So we'll talk about that. That's what I got. Yeah, you can find me on all the socials at Hexco Space Force, and I just cut off Will so hard that he is dying. Okay. Wow. Sorry, brother. All right. That's what I'm up to. Brendan, what are you doing, my man?
Well, I thought since it's the end of the Whiskey Wednesday stream, I thought I'd throw in another new hat that you guys haven't seen yet. This is my Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey hat, and I do really enjoy my Tullamore Dew. It's there's an interesting Tullamore Dew that's aged in oak casks. That's really delicious. I recommend trying it. Drink responsibly, DGens, and be 21 or over if you're in the United States. But yeah, so I'm going to Ireland on Fridays, so you guys won't see me on stream for a couple of weeks. I'm super excited. Essentially booked just 2 nights in Dublin, and then renting a car and just going to randomly drive down the coast, stop in a city, find a random bed and breakfast, and then go to the next county and continue to do that all the way down the east coast, down the bottom, Cork and Kerry, and then up the other coast all the way to Galway, back over to Dublin. So I'm going to spend 10 days over in Ireland. Very blessed to be able to do that. And that means I don't have a lot of dry powder to put into the market. But if we have another dip, I will find some. But yeah, so other than that, working on stuff for conferences coming up, working on some new presentations that I may be giving at conferences in regards to inflation, similar to what I gave at the Cardano conference not that long ago. So we're really just trying to get out there and help people. And yeah, it's coming up to the end of the year. I will probably, hopefully, be on a stream before the end of the year. I think I'll be on the Wednesday stream 2 weeks from today. That's my goal, because I will be back then. But if I don't talk to y'all, enjoy the holidays. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. But I'm sure I'll see y'all before that. So very excited. And thanks for joining us. Join the Telegram. It's free. And things that are free are for me. Nate, what's going on?
Love I exited that out. Yeah, no. My show is just about finished. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna go with Will and probably do this Tuesday. It's gonna be about the death of crypto, and then also several trillions of dollars worth of damage and setting us back to the dark ages. It is about to come 2025, more than likely, unless you listen to me and you take certain steps. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Watch it and then make for your like ask me about it later. But yeah. So I've got my show coming in for that. It's a little side project simply. I got a lot of other things that I look at as well. And I'll just be talking. It's kind of like how we do here with Whiskey Wednesdays. For me, it's like I've got an idea that I've been kind of researching into, and there's a lot of interesting ideas about it. And I would like everybody else's smart-brained or wrinkly brain, I should say, ideas on if I'm heading in the right direction, if I got the right thoughts, type of deal. But there are some very fascinating things out there. On top of that, too, there's a lot of future things happening as well, especially when it comes to AI and when it comes to space. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of deep dives into that as well. So yeah. Other than that, I'm going to continue to liquidate people on liquid loans. So you better watch your ICR percentage, because I'm coming for you. DJ responsibly, everybody. Will, take us out.
That's my fucking favorite, dude. Liquidate all those cocksuckers who aren't paying attention to their shit. We gave you guys plenty of time to learn how this system operates and to, at the very least, learn how to use it safely. Now, it's not our system. This belongs to Walrus and the dudes over at Liquid Loan. So fantastic for them. If you guys want more information on that, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. There is a 2-hour-long deep dive interview with both Nate and Tracker and Walrus, where they go through the functionality and the form of the way that Liquid Loans operates and how you can maximize your efficacy using that platform. As far as stuff that's going on for me in the near future, we've got on the DGen Roundtable on the 13th of December, I will be interviewing alongside with Zenith and Josh and I can't remember who else. I think Jeff will be joining us as well. But we will be interviewing the author of this book right here, Securing Wallets, written by Stephen L. Bates. So I met this gentleman at a networking event, and so we will be interviewing him and talking about self-betterment for young men, securing your wallets, cryptocurrency, cybersecurity in general, and a whole bunch of other cool things as well. So look for that to be coming in the near future. I think that will actually be a week from today. So yeah, a week from today, roundabouts this same time, interviewing Stephen Bates. On the 27th of this month, we will also be interviewing my mother. She wrote a book on taxes and how to avoid trouble with the IRS, I believe is the name of the tax book. I should have that in the description below, but I don't. So in any case, if you guys want to look up that book, it's How to Avoid Trouble with the IRS, but written by Christine Stevenson. She's an enrolled agent in the IRS, and she basically just gives a ton of tax advice and does consults and things for small business owners to help them avoid getting themselves into pickles with good old Uncle Sam. The other thing that's going on is I'm still working on my Hexagon Meetup Template stuff, right? So if you guys are a Hexagon and you want to meet up with other Hexagons, then what you need to do is you need to go into your uniform resource locator, up your URL bar where you type in www. and all that other crazy crap. You need to put in bit.ly/hex_meetup_template. And what that will do is that will open up an Excel spreadsheet where you can put in however much information you want, dox yourself to the limit that you're comfortable. But basically, you put in, if you're willing to, you put in your location and you put in a way to contact you. So that way, if what this is just a generic template for Hexagons to meet up with each other, right? So I've reached out to a couple of folks. I'm going to be going down to Austin and Waco and Temple in the near future, and I'm going to meet up with a bunch of Hexagons down there because they happen to have put their information in, or they've reached out to me personally on Telegram, Twitter, Instagram, and all that other stuff, right? They've reached out to me, and so I'm just going to meet up with other Hexagons because I happen to have their contact info. But if you're a Hexagon, crypto guys, shit, did we lose? We lost connection there, didn't we? Am I back?
You're back.
Am I good? All right, sweet.
Close it out before you leave, before we lose you.
Yeah.
Yes, before we go. All right, so I'm doing all that stuff, and then in the description below you will find a link to a YouTube video that me and my brother are doing. We're going to be interviewing an Australian lady about sexual promiscuity and other stuff that's part of the other podcast that I'm a part of. Brothers, 2 of them, and everything. So anyways, all that's all done. Join the DGen Roundtable. Get in our Telegram. bit.ly/degenerate_roundtable. Become a part of the crew. And with that, Mrs. Producer,
I got one last
we
thing.
got one more thing. Miss Producer, get ready though.
One last thing. So Mr. Sloth's $1.5 million coin that hit a grand total of $4.5 million has now tanked to 85 cents. Oh no.
Oh man, what a chart. What a
That's
chart.
crypto, baby. 1 minute you're up, the next you're down.
Oh. And with
awesome.
that, we're out of here.
All right.
You have a great one.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen.